Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Now, today I want to talk about something that I saw from a post from Dexerto. If you don't know, that's like some fucking source or something, article or news, drama news, influencer news shit, game news, that just talk about video games and overall. And I saw a post specifically talking about GTA 6. Now, not really specifically GTA 6 itself, but an industry analyst or a games industry analyst claiming game companies hope GTA 6 will cost $80 to $100, and a price hike is needed for market growth, and the companies are hoping GTA 6 will start the trend of all games being more expensive, which is so hilarious and very ballsy of them to say, because many of the games overall from the recent years are not even worth $70 overall. They're not worth $70. They're not worth what they charge for the games itself when they release it on launch, many times at least. Not all games, just some games. Especially with games like Call of Duty, with the recent years of the games that they've released, they're not even worth $60 at all. And the fact that they want to start charging $80 to $100 is even more insane, and it really shows you how out of touch they are. So let's talk about all of these. Let's break down all of this, and I guess I'll give you my reasons on why this is an absolutely terrible idea for them, and they'll just lose money because of this. So let's start with the first one. It's so funny to me that they think that the games that they make is GTA 6 quality games for them to think that they can charge this and think it's fair and that it's needed to do it. And it's so hilarious because I know for a fact that people who are saying this are not making GTA 6 quality games. And I don't know about you, but I know for a fact that GTA 6 will be an insane game. It will be fucking amazing, and I'm hoping that it will be, because if it's not, we just wasted 11 years of our fucking lives doing nothing and waiting for a game that was complete dog shit. But I know for a fact that Rockstar Games knows that this game has high expectations, and they're going for that. They're making this game really big. They're going to make it massive because they've spent over a decade. I'm not sure if it was a decade, maybe even a few years. I'm not sure. Quite a while on this game. They've spent over $2 billion on this game as well. And they've had a track record of making amazing games and very high quality games, at least games itself. Not making remasters. I'm not talking about remasters. That's a whole different thing. Making games itself. They did amazing with Red Dead Redemption 2. They did pretty good with GTA 5 and GTA Online and all the things that they've done. GTA 4, GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, every GTA game at least. It's been a massive improvement overall. GTA 4 was massive because GTA 3 looked a little weird. It still looked like GTA San Andreas. GTA 4 was really realistic. GTA 5 was a lot more sort of cartoonish in some way. It was really silly. And then everyone is hoping that GTA 6 will be good, and it will have very good quality, I'm hoping as well. But the fact that they think that it's needed, like it's really needed for games to be priced again, even more priced, is so hilarious because I know for a fact that their games that they make are not worth $100, and I know for a fact that they're not making GTA 6 quality games. I just know for a fact at all that they don't at all. And the fact that they think that this will be fair, especially with games like, let's say for example, Call of Duty. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Call of Duty pricing that, especially with the game that they've had overall for the past few years? With Vanguard, with MW2, with MW3, the past games have been so fucking dog shit. It's not even worth $50. It's not even worth $40. $30 is the maximum it should be priced because it was terrible. It fucking sucked balls. And the fact that people say, oh yeah, it was good. MW2, the only redeemable thing was the campaign. The multiplayer sucked balls. DMZ sucked, or it was kind of mid, but they just stopped updating that. Warzone sucks at that time. MW3, multiplayer was the only good thing. Campaign sucked balls. Zombies DMC was the most boring thing of all time. Warzone is still dog shit. Vanguard, oh my god. Campaign, forgettable shit. Oh my god, multiplayer, terrible. Oh my god, zombies, the worst zombies of all time. I feel like even worse than BO4, even worse than World War II. It's so insane. Imagine if they actually priced Vanguard for $100. You would basically just get scammed. You might as well have burnt the money instead if you spent all that money on Vanguard, if it was $100 at least. So I know for a fact that the games that they've made, or the games that they're making, will never be worth $100 and don't even deserve that pricing. They're probably not even worth $70. And I know for a fact that it probably might be someone from Activision as well, or like something, I don't know, someone, some higher up or something saying that, oh yeah, this could be also good for Call of Duty. Yeah, totally. Fix your fucking games before anything else, first of all. Because many of the games that they have made, like, again, I keep bringing up Call of Duty because it's like a punching bag now. Call of Duty BO6, so many problems right now. Cheaters are all over the place. Game can be really buggy as well sometimes. And it's really losing a lot of players every single fucking day. And sure, it was mostly Activision's fault because of that. But again, imagine if they actually priced it for BO6. Imagine if they actually priced it $100. People have spent the Vault Edition for BO6. They spent $100 for the Vault Edition of it, and from what I've seen, it's not worth it, especially with how bad BO6 is right now, with multiplayer, with ranked. It's very, very bad. It's just another cash grab as usual. And the Omni movement, no one even cares about it anymore. It's not really anything massive. It's just, sure, it's cool and all, I guess, but I don't really see anyone even doing that at this point. It's just normal Call of Duty games again. And again, the games that they've made and the recent games as well, at least for AAA games, some AAA games have not been worth $70 and have been sometimes mediocre shit or just too overpriced to even charge something like that. So the fact that you think that you hope that this trend will start because of GTA 6, and the fact that you think that it would be fair if you charge it because GTA 6 got started, even though it would sort of in some way, I don't think it would be a good idea at all. In some way, I could at least understand in some way. I'm not saying that they should. Again, I'm not condoning it. They shouldn't do that. It's a terrible idea. They charge GTA 6 for $100. I could understand in some way because it's a very, very high quality game that they spent so long in. So, of course, I can understand in some way, but I'm not saying that they should. Again, I keep bringing it up because I don't want anyone to use this shit out of context and saying that they should do that. They shouldn't. But the other games that have been released, especially with something like Call of Duty, charging something like that would just be outrageous, a scam, and no one would ever even buy that shit at all. So, again, this point overall is so dumb, especially with saying, oh, they hope that they start with this trend. Please start doing the GTA 6. Please do it. Please release it at $80 to $100 so we can start overpricing our games as well, even when the quality is not even good at all. A game does not need to be expensive to make money. It does not. An example that I want to bring up is Minecraft. Minecraft is not a very expensive game. I think it's around $20 to $30 if I recall. It's not expensive at all. And there's a lot to do in there. And a pretty well-made game, and it sold hundreds of millions of copies overall. And it wasn't even worth $70 at all. It wasn't worth $60 at all, and it sold that many. It made so much money and is still making so much money to this day, especially with all the kids that still play it to this day. Another game as well, Lethal Company. Lethal Company is an indie game. I think it's an indie game. An indie game that outsold a AAA game. It outsold MW3 when it released back in 2023. It outsold that game, and it was really well made, especially with when it was only made by I think one person. I'm not sure if it was one person. It really did amazing, and it was really fun, and I think it is still fun to this day, and definitely one of the most well made games overall, especially with all of the content that was released when it was very popular back then. All the mods, all the videos, all the streams, all of those things were hilarious when you were playing this game. And it made this game so enjoyable, especially with playing with your friends. It was hilarious. And I kind of wish that the trend of it was still going. And I hope that maybe one day people start going back to it and play it again. But moving on from that, that game was only $10. Only $10. Do you know how insane that is? I would maybe even accepted maybe, I don't know, $20, maybe 30, but $10 is an insane pricing. It's so cheap. Anyone can buy it right now, and it's still a very fun game to play. Man, it might not be fun if you play it by yourself, but playing with other people is very fun. It's hilarious. I've seen so many videos and so many streams of it. It's fucking hilarious. And because of that, because of how cheap it was and how well made it was as well, how good it is, it sold way more than MW3. It beat MW3. I'm pretty sure a AAA game itself. It's so hilarious that a AAA game was outsold by an indie game, a game that was just made by one person. It's amazing, and I'm really hoping that this continues of indie games outselling AAA games, because it shows to you that games do not need to be expensive to make money. It does not at all. Maybe another example as well. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not one of the biggest franchises of all time. When Scott Cawthon was working on it himself, it was only like $7, $8, and because of it, it's now one of the most popular horror games of all time. And it's such a massive franchise. It has games like what is it? FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. FNAF World, FNAF 6, Pizzeria Simulator, Ultimate Custom Night, Security Breach, even if it was bad, I guess. Help Wanted 2, Help Wanted 1. A movie, it's fucking massive. And it was only a small game just made by one person and only sold for $8. It's insane and shows to you, it's in examples, many other examples if you want to provide, that a game does not need to be expensive to make profit. It does not at all, and won't even help you with your marketing that you supposedly say that it's needed for marketing or something. It's needed to make money. It's not. Many games, even if it's just by one person, have made so much money just from it being a low price, and because it was so well made by that one person. Of course it's going to be really good. As long as the game is good and it was also worth the price, especially with something like Lethal Company, of course people are going to play it, and of course it's very enjoyable to do, because you can see that the people that made it really put their heart out on the game, and it really shows to you. And I'm really hoping that indie games continue to be really big and continue to become very popular. So moving on from this point, games do not need to be expensive to make profit. There have been many examples, and you can see for yourself other examples of games being very underpriced and still making so much profit.
Do you honestly think you're fucking funny?
Believe it or not, you will actually lose players and lose money for overpricing your bullshit. Can you believe it? Yeah, it can happen, because no one wants to spend $100 on a game that might be mediocre, especially when the quality, I'm sure, is not even worth $100 at all. I know for a fact the quality of your game is not $100. It's not on the next GTA 6. I know for a fact it's not, because they really think that we can just pull money out of our ass and have all this money that we could just spend because we make so much money. We're the richest people on the planet. They think that low-income families, and I guess maybe middle-income families, don't exist. They think that everyone has all the money that they could just spend on games, especially because, again, video games are a want. They're not a need. They're not a want. You can find any other ways to entertain yourself, and video games is just a want. But of course, for low-income families, they have probably children and kids that want to play games, new games that are released, and of course, maybe something like, maybe not GTA 6, but maybe the new next game. Of course, they'll try to work as hard as they can to get their child that game. If it means spending more overtime, if it means having to waste some money or spend some money, especially that could have been used on like bills or something, of course they're going to do that because they love their kids and they love their families. Of course people are going to do that. But then when they realize, holy shit, why the fuck is this game $100? I know for a fact that back then games were like $30. Why is this one $100? Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even gonna spend money on this. I'll get them something else. Again, for other players as well, people don't have as much money as they do. People don't have a lot of money. Many people are low income, and many people work minimum wage. Many people don't make a lot of money, so they don't have a lot of money to spare, especially with the years that we're living right now, with everything being so expensive, everything being so overpriced, everything with inflation, food, homes, gas, every single thing is so expensive right now. And the fact that they think as well, with the article that they mentioned, proving that they have some charts saying that games have been cheaper than ever. Yeah, totally. They've totally been cheaper, especially with the microtransactions being shoved down our fucking throats. Totally cheaper. So again, I know for a fact that that game is not worth $100, and the fact that you will charge this, you will lose fans instead, because people will realize, holy shit, I can't spend this money. I can't spend this amount of money on one game itself. It's too much money. I'm not going to spend it. I have better games. I have better ways to spend my money. I could buy like maybe 3 or 4 games just from like $100 itself, depending on what you buy, and maybe if it's on like discount or something. No one is going to buy that, and especially with like GTA 6. Especially with something like that, because it's a game that we've all been waiting for over a decade. I would at least hope maybe it would be $60, not like $70, but it probably will be. And in some way I can sort of understand, because it's going to be a very high quality game, and I know for a fact that the people that are saying that it should be $80 to $100 and are hoping that they continue with this trend, or this trend starts beginning with pricing games like this, are not making the same quality as something like GTA 6. I know for a fact that they're not, and because of that you will just lose those people that don't have a lot of money and probably can't have a lot of money to spare and don't want to spend it on the games that you make, because it's just too much money. No one wants to do that. No one wants to spend $100 on the game itself. Nobody wants to do that. They can spend money on something else, easier things, maybe like buy food, buy something else, buy better items. Seriously, you will lose players instead of gaining them. You will lose them. No one will want to. Of course, there will be gullible and stupid people that will end up just buying something like that, because there's always people that buy overpriced shit because they have money to spare. But you just realize you're just only supporting this and making this even more of a problem for people that don't have that kind of money. So seriously, no one should support anything like this. No one at all. And it's only going to make it more detrimental for people that just want to enjoy games while also not having a lot of money, because everything is really expensive now these years. Everything is expensive. Food is expensive. Homes are expensive. Everything is overpriced. All the inflation is terrible right now. This country is going to shit, and this will only make it even worse. So Rockstar, please, I doubt that you're watching this, but please, for the love of God, if you at least care somewhat about your fans, and if you want to listen to them at least once, please do not do this. Do not let this trend begin, because it will only make it even worse for everyone. Please, for the love of God, make your game, price it maybe $70. Please don't price it anymore. Please, for the love of God. If you still have some humane left in you, like seriously, please don't do this. Just price it normally, because I don't want this trend to start. I don't want it at all. I don't want to have this sort of trend start with Call of Duty games, especially when they don't deserve it at all. No game, I highly doubt no game ever deserves $100 pricing at all. No game deserves that. No game deserves a pricing for that at all, because I know for a fact they're not making a high quality game like that to be worth $100. I know for a fact. Maybe GTA 6, I wouldn't really see it, in my opinion. I don't really see it, but still, I'm just saying it's too much, and you will just end up losing players. All those people that were probably loyal to you and were hoping that the games that they make will at least be still sort of fair and buyable, not expensive and just overpriced bullshit. And it shows to you that you're just being used to use all your money on this, when it's probably just going to be the same shit, especially with something like Call of Duty. Seriously, don't support this, and don't let this happen. Never support something like this, especially if you want to keep money in your wallet. Do not support something like this, please, for the love of God. And Rockstar, if you're listening, don't condone this and don't do this. You will only just lose more players. Even if it's your GTA 6 game, even if it's one of the most highly anticipated games of all time, you will also lose players, especially. I just want to conclude this by saying I still have high hopes for games out there. I still have high hopes for video games, especially if many games have been pretty dog shit recently. I still have high hopes that this year will definitely be a good year for video games, especially with GTA 6 releasing and Rockstar saying there's going to be no delay on GTA 6. I have high hopes that it will be a good game, and who knows, maybe even better games will release during this year as well. Let's hope that there will be a lot of competition for Game of the Year, and GTA 6 will be a hard competitor for the other games. Who knows? It might be dog shit, it might be amazing, it might be Game of the Year, no one knows. But all that matters, and that anyone that should take this, especially for video game companies that say something like this, the problem is not with the games being underpriced and cheap. The problem is you making dog shit games and charging $70 for that game. Activision, stop charging this shit. If you're gonna make dog shit games that are not finished, that are uncompleted, stop charging $70 for it, because no one wants to buy that. No one wants to buy it. It's just the same thing for years already, and you've made no difference. BO6, I mean, the Omni movement, no one cares about it anymore. People just moved on from that and just play the game, and now you've just lost all the players that you've gained off launch. So get your head out of your ass, start working on the game, start caring about the game, ignore money for just a little bit, just for at least a month, and fix your games, fix the hacker issues, fix everything that are all the problems in your game. I'm sorry if I'm mumbling so much, but outraged with a sort of claim like this that it needs to be more expensive. It doesn't. Games do not need to be more expensive to make profit. There have been many examples of other places or other games making a lot of money and they didn't even charge a lot of it. They didn't even charge 50 bucks for it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my rant. I'll see you guys next time on whatever it will be. Activision, get a fucking grip.